Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Turn Right Machine Works, 159B Great Western Road. My name is Keith, I'm your host. Alright, besides cutting out the new letters for the building, which we've been wanting to do, and a lot of people are kind of confused. 159 is Childs. Childs is the property I'm located on here, and I have a section of it, and I'm the B section. They're the A section. Okay, back 2017, Rick Gallagher Metalworks sent me a flag holder. I think it's just about the same time that I received a flag from the RZ Summer Bash, and also too he knew I had the flagpole outside, so he liked my channel. He sent me a nice letter, and he started fabricating these, and they are really nice little stamp, his emblem, the whole bit. And I've been saving it for a special place, and this is the special place. Now, along the same time period, Rick Gearhart niece Lacey Lawson was stationed over in Jordan, and she requested a squadron flag, and I was blessed with this flag that was flown on a mission and then presented to me, and here's a certificate that was given along with this flag. And I've been waiting for a special place to present this, and this now will be presented in the front of my shop. Thank you very much, Lacey, and all your comrades. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, come on in. Okay, we come over to our in and out bench here, and today's job is going to be some big truck action here. All right, we got a steering arm off of a spindle on a big truck, and we have a ball joint from a rod, and we'll pop that off and that off. And we have an issue here. They can't get the knuckles for this unit to fit that bore, but they readily available on these rod ends all the time. So we're going to set this receiver up, the bore, and we're going to bore that taper into there, so they can just from now on change out this tie rod in with the stock on the shelf rod end. Okay, now the question is, how do we bore that out? We have no taper boring head like the tree boring heads for a mill to come in and bore that on a taper. So we're going to have to bore this in the lathe. Now this is an odd shape, and from here out to here we have no problem because we have the gap we can pull in our lathe, and this is straight in line and it'll swing in front of the carriage, no problem. Okay, now do you grab this with the 3-jaw or the 4-jaw? Let's head on over to the lathe, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to set this up. Basically, I'm holding the center up here to where my jaws are. I haven't decided how I'm going to run this. Obviously, we can't run this in the 3-jaw, or can we? All right, we'll check that out in a minute. All right, as this thing swings around, we need to have the clearance right here. So the very first thing I'm going to do is pull the gap. We pulled our gap out of here, and I did a little cleaning on this face, this bore here with the whizzy wheel. I kind of spared you, and I didn't think you were going to get off on watching the whizzy wheel, but what I'm going to do now is, and it doesn't matter if we're going to run the 4-jaw or the 3-jaw, there's no sense in changing them because my fixture is going to work the same. I really don't know the difference of throw on the distance out here. I'll have to pay attention the next time. I'll measure what I have for jaws to the gap, and there might be an advantage to running the 4-jaw as far as making the space down in here more or less. Alright, so let's follow along now. I'm going to make a fixture to run this and hold it suspended, spinning around the axis of this bore, and clearance for it to swing in the gap here. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chuck up a piece of round stock here. That may be in the right position right there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to face it off. Okay, we gave it some face there. Now we're going to turn. That's fairly rough there. I wonder if that insert's got a little chip in it. We're going to have to investigate our little tool bit here. Okay, we indexed our tool bit. It might have been that spline that we were working on. It might have just put the push on it here. Oh, I'd say so. Look at the finish on that now. Okay, I think I want to take about a 1/4 inch off the diameter of that. Alright, we're happy with that diameter. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a bore in here. That's going to be deep enough. Now we just get the right size here. This drill bit's the right size. I do have flats ground on the tip of this so they don't grab on bronze work. Okay, our holding arbor is ready to go. Ready for mounting. Here we go. I'm going to hold this in here. We're going to bring this in here. Okay, we're going to check the swing, make sure everything's fine. Okay, we can live with that. Alright, and just for your information, we shut off the lathe already with the disconnect. Alright, let's prep it for tightening the whole thing down. We're using 7018 fasteners today. Relocate my mic here. All right. My fastener shield. All right, I think 3 small X-caliber fasteners are going to be perfect on here. And we'll put the first one right here. Okay, and we're going to put 2 others. We're going to kind of rotate this around. I like that. Okay, and one more. And I like right there. Okay. We'll take away our fastening tooling and we'll get back to our project. You can see I actually have almost a hand width or finger width of space between here and we're overhanging the ways by about a ½ inch or better. So we have an inch, inch and a quarter total clearance in our gap for this thing to swing around, and plenty of clearance on the outside diameter, so we're not going to be interrupting or hitting that. The weld is our dog, the weld is our faceplate, the weld is the fasteners, the welds is everything. Okay, now let's go ahead and pull back our center and let's take a look at our bore. Let's see how she spins. Oh, you got to turn the power back on after you get done welding. Okay, main breaker on. And that's just so we don't backfeed any current from the welding. Here we go. Hey, that looks pretty good. It does have a little bit of like egg shape to that bore there, a little wobble, like maybe something had let go. But she's not extremely out. I know that we're going to have to clean up more material than the run out. But yeah, she can wobble side to side, but she's more stable up and down. Alright, we're going to measure this bore and we're going to measure this male here, and we're going to make sure that we get this on the right taper here. And we're going to set our compound to do the boring at the taper, and our lathe will just feed in and out for the amount per cut. So let's get set up on that now. Okay, this has got to go in about an inch. So in an inch, I'll measure on here about how much we're actually going to be taking out of there, but I know that it's going to be about at least 4 times more than the run out. The run out is running out about 30 total. That's 15 thousandths off center on the hole, to my best guesstimate with my little indicator going in there. All right, so now that we got this set up, we're going to pull this out. We're going to chuck on here lightly here. We're going to put the indicator on here, make sure that we're swinging around, and then we're going to dial the compound into the existing taper on this part that we want to match. Then we're going to come back, put this in, and then do the bore. Okay, just lightly chuck on that. Okay, now we got to come around here and swing an indicator without getting knocked by the thread. We're grabbing our no-go indicator. Make sure everything clears here. That coincidence. It's like 15 thousandths run out right here. Oh, you gotta set it on 0. All you guys that want zeros, here, there's your 0. All right, 18 thousandths. 18 on the high right there. All right, we grab our little plastic mallet here. Okay, that's about as good as we're gonna get it. I don't want to be doing a lot of messing around. We are grabbing a hold of threads there. We're in a sad 3-jaw. It needs to be ground. Excuse me. We're gonna mark that as the high. Okay, this is the low. All right, somewhere in between the middle of those is where we're going to dial our compound to. And then we're going to start taking the cut. We're going to blue fit this as we go, and then might even do a light lap on it so we can ensure the best contact for this ball joint. All right, but we're close enough right there on knowing where to indicate to get that angle. Okay, we got our compound. We're kind of guessing. I put the compound at 4 degrees just so we have some kind of an angle in here to adjust. I put the mag base against the flat, kind of facing in this direction so that I can swing this up and down. Of course, I got to lock this here. Okay, now I can go up and down, and what that does is it puts me as close as possible to center line, because I know the high. When you go down below, you go away, it's going to be less. You come in and you go up. The high, when you swing something in line with the axis, it's going to give you the high. So that tells me that I'm on center, or pretty darn close to it. All right, now I can hand crank this back and forth. We were pretty close. See, now that's the straight part of that male there, and right about there it hits the taper, and then from there down to the bottom. Well, wait, we're within I think 2 thousandths of that total length there. 2 thousandths within an inch. Okay, so we're too light on the major, too heavy on the minor, whichever way you want to look at it. So we got to swing out. We have to have a little bit less angle. So we just take it. It's so minute, we're just lightly tapping on the compound to give us our difference there. Now if you want to come back to a 0, you can dial in and out with your cross feed. And we probably have room for air in here as well. We're within a 1/4 thousandths right there. I'm not going to bother getting any closer until we actually see a contact with this part in our bore. I think we're pretty darn close. And just for curiosity, let's go down to the minor diameter here. See if we can we roll it? I might have to come back a little bit just so the jaw doesn't hit the indicator. See, the minor's within 3/1000ths of run out, even though this out here we got it down to about 9/1000ths run out. Okay, I'm happy with our starting point for our compound to bore out that bore. Let's change and put the part in here now. Okay, I wanted to share this. I'm gonna rob this from the little lathe because this is a nice small bore, and I like to have something solid as a rock. All right, solid as a rock machine shop. I acquired this boring bar at Bar Z Summer Bash 2018. All right, so I'm gonna get set up here, and we're gonna come in here and see what we can do. Here we go. We got our compound set back far enough. We have our height adjusted pretty much off the center of our tailstock there. Looked like a good position. We're locked. We have enough travel on our compound. One thing, just double check, make sure. Okay, we tightened both of those adjustments on the swing, and nothing left but touch off and take a light skim. All right, we run it in the bore a little bit. I'm going to feed out. There we go. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take 10/1000. That'd be 20 on the diameter. We'll probably still have a slight holiday somewhere. We'll take a look at that as we go. And we're just hand cranking the compound. Kind of a good sign that we're in as far as we are, and we're still got material coming off of there. We're pretty close on light tapers. We kind of guessed that it was just a size thing. It wasn't so much a change in the angle. Okay, I think we reached the end of our cut. We're going to mark a spot on our compound and kind of put a, we'll move our dial here. We'll set 0 on there, and we're going to put a Sharpie mark. We'll put 2 Sharpie marks so we know. All right, I'm going to just hand cranking it back. Alright, we're out of there. Now I'm going to roll the whole carriage back. I've already set 0 at the carriage, so I can bring the carriage right back to the same spot. all the way down the bottom, about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. We have 100% cut all the way around, and this narrows in closer there and kind of fades out over there a little bit. So we're getting there. Good start. We're going to put this in for the first time here. We know it has a little bit of motion on it, but we're just kind of holding it in as much as we can. We're going to put a line on here because we're going to gauge how much we're dropping in each time we take a cut, and we also can measure about how much more we need to bring this in. So we need to bring this in 900 thousandths or 800 thousandths, somewhere around in there. We got a hook scale. We hooked it in there, and we're about 1 7/16. And if you take and you screw this down here, and you look in here where your cotter pin is gonna start fitting in that hole pretty good, you're gonna want about 1 7/16 in there. So we're gonna be right up close past that taper just a little bit, major diameter of the taper I should say, when this thing actually starts fitting in there. If it gets real close and we need to, we can always face a minimum amount off the back of this nut to get us enough motion in on there. We have a little bit of playroom to make this fit upright. Alright, we come back into our 0, which is right there. We crank it in, okay, just barely touching. We want to confirm pretty much that we're in the same spot. All right, we're going to take another 10 thousandths. See what we got. Actually not a bad chip. This is a hardened piece, not real hard. Okay, one little holiday right there at the end. It actually really does show you that this was bell mouth somewhat. Something that got loose on you before. Alright, but regardless, we have another fitting part that we have to concern ourselves with. And making sure that we don't have any problems with our part. Alright, and we mark this. We want to see how far 10 thousandths actually took us. And it took us about 1/8 of an inch. That figures out pretty close to like 3/4 inch per foot. Sometimes does that as well. Okay, another 10 thousandths. We're going to creep up on it. There's no sense in racing to this finished size here, especially if it's to make a mistake. We want to make sure our angle is good, and we don't have enough in there yet that actually kind of shows a good contact with the bluing. This here, with it machining out that holiday, we're going to be pretty constant all the way around. We could probably start do a little blue and rub check. Okay, there's the end of the cut. Feeling pretty good without much rock. All right, we're gonna do this just to see how far we're coming along. Looking pretty good. We got about a ½ inch in there now. Okay, now let's go ahead and put a little bit of Sharpie around here and see what we got. Coat it up with some Sharp'em. We look pretty darn close to being on taper there. When I put that in there, it does feel, it's not rocking at all. And this, we got a mark all the way around on it. This is looking darn good. Looks like we fell right into it again. All right, let's proceed. Okay, our last check, we put a line here. We put that nut in here where we got a cotter pin hole there. We measured across here and we got like 1/300. And the depth of this is like 1/450, 1/475. So we have about 150 thousandths to come out of here. Or bring it down into the depth a little bit more. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to come in here and we're going to take another 10 thousandths, which we knew was pretty close to giving us about 100 thousandths. Here we go. All right, touch it, looks good. Another 10 thousandths. I'm going to put oil on here. Feels pretty good in there. Okay, let's see what we got. Feel real good. No rocky at all. Actually, I gotta pivot this just so I can get that Sharpie in close enough to make a correct line. There we go. Well, I think we're gonna be right on there. That's almost like 7/16 right there. I'm just going by that flat right there. That's about where it was at. Pretty close. Let's see, where's the hole at? That is pretty darn close right now. Okay, I'm double checking everything here. I'm going to put our thumbnail right there. Okay, I am really happy with that. Our distance in, we're right up, real close. I don't want to take a chance on cutting anymore. We're just going to we'll whizzy wheel it, clean it up, deburr it a little bit right here, and then I'll go ahead and pull and break loose the tacks here. If I thought I felt a little rock in there, I would definitely want to put a little lapping compound in there. But I'm looking at the blue. The blue from here is actually like almost bluing that thing right in there. Okay, blue. Blue. I like it. Here's an old trick, but for some of you guys that might be new to, take a piece of emery strip. This is just a 1/4 inch rod. I took a hacksaw, went down about an inch like that, kind of put this in here, kind of twist it up. Makes a nice little tool to come in and get the bore. You let it fan out a little bit and it kind of pulls the radius, deburrs the outside edge as well. You go past on the inside, the same thing. Okay, nice little polish of that. We sanded off the little welds after we ground in and got the big chunks. We ground into the rod itself so we could save everything on here. And then we round this off and touch up these areas here so that there's no stress-rised areas. Okay? Well, that bore is looking really good. And if we put this in and we see our nut right here, that sticks right in there. It's holding its own right there. And damn near see that cotter pin hole right there. Pretty slick. We wanted to do one more fit up here. We took and we faced a little bit off of the back of this nut here because we were lacking just a ever so slightly amount. Of course, it'll probably be torqued even a little bit more than this, but we just wanted to make sure that, okay, cotter pin can get fit in there. Alright, feels good. Okay, and that's a 532 stainless steel cotter pin, and that's exactly what that hole takes there. So there's no you can put any cotter pin you want that's going to fit through that hole and it'll fit in there. Okay, so I'm not shortcoming that. All right, let's go ahead and break it loose. And we did put Sharpie on the bore here, and we just want to come in here and give a good look, and we are seeing transfers all around on there. Looks good. We're happy with this. All right, now we can put the rubber boot on here, which that goes on, gets compressed. That gets compressed a lot. Okay, that boot Well, it's the boot they gave me with it. All right. It's a lot of compression for that boot. All right. I'm not going to tighten it up. I want the landlord to have his guy assemble a thing. I don't know if they're going to want to do something with this in here, paint it, or whatever. All right. Till the next job. Get her done.